Hello traders, Rich here, and here's a quick but detailed update on gold. As usual, if you guys like video analysis, let me know in the comments or simply leave a like. So let's get started. As we clearly see, gold has been overall bullish for a while, making higher lows and higher highs. However, we previously rejected the supply zone and the 2K round number. So we are currently in a correction phase. When we are overall bullish, we're waiting for the correction to be about to end to catch what? The next impulse movement upward. However, we can't really know where the correction would end. It can end here, here, or even dive a little bit deeper before trading higher. That's why, even though we are overall bullish, we don't buy blindly. We always look for two things. The first one is a key rejection area. In our case, as the support and resistance was acting as support, resistance here now acting as a support area. Our second confluence or key rejection area is this lower brown trend line acting as a non-horizontal support. So as price approaches it, we'll be looking for bottom ups. That's our rejection area. But as mentioned, we'll be looking, and I insist on the word looking, because we don't buy blindly. Even though we are bullish, we always zoom into lower time frames and look for extra confirmation, because for now we are bearish, right? Even though it's just from a short-term perspective, but we are bearish, right? We don't want to buy a bearish market. So while waiting for the bulls to take over again, so that the long-term and the short-term perspective would be lined up, would be both bullish. That's why we always zoom into lower time frames for extra confirmation. So if you zoom into M30 time frame, you can see that previously around this rejection or 2K supply, the bears took over by breaking below this low and we traded lower. So we are currently bearish from a short-term perspective, impulse, correction, impulse, and we are now expecting this correction movement. However, we are looking for buy setups as price approaches this lower support area. Let me highlight it here real quick. So that's our support area, and we are looking for buy setups. One way to do it, or as per my trading plan, I'll be waiting for a new swing high. It can be here, or it might be like we can see a drop lower before the swing high is formed. So for those who watch the videos and not only like check the picture at the end, will know what to look for. In this case, then and only then the bulls would take over. This would be our trigger, and when the buy is activated, the stop loss would be just below the previous swing low, and we target a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio to have an edge over the market from a risk management perspective. And our target would be around the upper resistance area and 2K zone. Meanwhile, and until the buy is activated, gold would be overall bearish, and we can still trade lower and lower, and then we'll be buying on the last high break upward, or even dive even deeper inside it before we trade higher. But long story short, we are bullish from a long-term perspective, waiting for the bulls to take over from a short-term perspective to buy. Before we continue, I want to tell you about Tickmill. Tickmill is established in 2014 and is one of the leading Forex and CFD brokers with registered users from more than 200 different countries. Tickmill is a no-dealing desk and ECN broker regulated in many countries like the UK, Cyprus, and recently in South Africa. With Tickmill, you can trade a wide range of instruments, starting from Forex to indices, commodities, and even crypto. Most importantly, with very low spreads and trading fees. If you don't have an account yet, make sure to create one using my referral link in the description below to benefit from 5% discounts on your trading fees. And let's continue. As we clearly see, AUDCAD was overall bearish for a while, making lower highs and lower lows, trading inside this bearish orange channel. However, lately price broke it upward and it's currently retesting it. That's why we'll be looking for buy setups. Moreover, this blue zone is a strong support and resistance zone. It has been respected many times previously, was acting as support again and again, then price broke it downward, acting as a resistance here, and price broke it upward, so it's currently acting as a support area. That's why we are looking for buy setups from a long-term perspective and from a short-term perspective, of course, and as usual, unless we have a break below the support again, then our long or bullish reversal would no longer be valid, and then we'll be looking for sell setups on the retest. It would be a trend continuation. But for now, let's take it step by step, right? Approaching a support area, we'll be looking for buy setups, and I insist on the word looking, because we don't buy blindly. No matter if you are bullish, no matter how strong a support is, we always zoom in for extra confirmation and trigger. Now, if we zoom into H1 time frame, we can see that AUDCAD has been overall bearish because we've got this big impulse movement upward and we are currently in this correction phase. We are now speculating this next big impulse movement because we are around a support area and we are retesting the structure. So we are bearish from a short-term perspective. AUDCAD is making low lows and lower highs. So we are technically bearish, even though it's from a short-term perspective, but you don't want to buy a bearish market. And like no matter if you are bullish from an long-term perspective, you always wait for a shift in momentum so that the lower and like the short-term and the long-term view would be lined up. So for now, what we're waiting for is a new swing high to form around the upper right trend line to consider it our trigger swing. For Osonomi, I always highlight it like this as our trigger, and then and only then we'll be buying on spike upward. As usual, and the buy is activated, the stop loss would be below the previous swing low, and we target a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio trade to have an edge over the market from a risk management perspective. So we've got a support here as mentioned previously, and that's why we are looking for buy setups. Meanwhile, and until the buy is activated, AUDCAD can sit rate lower and lower inside this area to start inside a range before breaking it upward or even break the support downward for it to become a resistance and so on as mentioned from weekly. Best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one.